For our young people who have highly scheduled lives, volunteering can really give a sense of empowerment. When young volunteers are given responsibility to plan, to run something, that can really give them some agency in their own lives.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this monthly community conversation, the topic of which today will be volunteering, arguably one of the most important values and practices of Chinese International School. I'm absolutely delighted to have with me 6 members of our parent body, each of whom has made major contributions of time and energy and ingenuity and other resources, both to CIS and to the city of Hong Kong. My first question really has to do with your earliest memories of volunteering. What is it that motivated you in the first place to become a volunteer?
My first volunteer opportunity was with the Victoria PTA. I find that rewarding because I get to spend more time with the kids, because at that time I'm a working mom, so I actually want to be more involved in that way. I quit my job 10 years ago, so I've become a full-time volunteer.
When I was in high school, I joined this program called the Duke of Edinburgh Award. To attain that award, there was a big service element. And I think that was what really kickstarted my volunteering sort of spark in me. Officially joining the community, I, as an eager reception parent, signed up to be a class parent. I think it's a really great way just to understand and get to know the school, get to know the parents, get to know the children, and at the same time, be able to spend more time with the children.
So I wanted to share about my earliest volunteering experience at CIS, and that was joining the Dragon Boat racing team. It was a huge commitment, lots of training days, but the team spirit was really incredible.
Similar to Daisy, I also participated in the Duke of Edinburgh Award. I was actually at boarding school at that point in England. We walked to the care centre for people with Down syndrome, and so we had to take care of them. Then after I graduated and moved back to Hong Kong, I started volunteering teaching Sunday school. When I quit my job, my children started asking, so now you're not working anymore, you should be a classroom and spend time with us at school. 8 years at school, I'm still volunteering.
About 25 years ago, I started my professional institute, and that spiraled. And then I volunteered for the Housing Society, sat on various boards, different social clubs, private clubs, Hong Kong Golf Association. But the most interesting bit was how I started volunteering for CIS. I remember very vividly when my daughter went to reception and they asked for reading mums and dads. And I went to the reading dad and I absolutely loved it. And I just kept going back because the kids were having so much fun and I was having so much fun. And that transpired to later being an advocate for the CIS fund, and then heads of the advocate for years 9 and then year 10 now.
Maybe at the age of 3 or 4, my grandparents used to take me to their social club where I would hand out cookies or punch to people. Then we moved to India. The need there was ever present. I got involved with the Little Sisters of the Poor, and I had my son George, who at the time was about 3, and I took him there and he would hand out cookies. So it was a nice full circle. Moving to Hong Kong, where really the need is not as obvious, but it definitely is still great. I'm really fortunate to actually run an organization called Hands on Hong Kong, whose mission is empowering everyone to volunteer, bringing it to the CIS life. I had the great pleasure of working on the school fair committee for about 6 years, helping to organize the charity stalls.
How important do you think it is as a volunteer to feel that you are having an impact?
If you don't feel like you're impacting on the cause that you're volunteering for, I think you should let someone else do it who may have a bigger impact. So yes, absolutely.
Actually, the impact is really a motivator. One of the reasons that I've been keep on volunteering is because I have been enjoying this impact.
Your intention is to help others, but in return, you actually get so much out of it yourself. But the impact also on people's mental health and well-being, and particularly for youth. And so many studies have shown that when people do volunteer, at any age, it does help to reduce anxiety, stress levels, gives them greater feelings of connectedness. So there are some really wonderful impacts that volunteering can have, of course, on others, but not to forget the positive impact that it has on the volunteer as well.
I volunteer with my son at Hands On. There was one of the programs where it was soap recycling, teaching children why this basic step is so important, and then showing them the whole picture of your small action actually leads to a much bigger benefit for the other people.
I think it is important to make an impact and to be able to make a difference in the world. It's important for the people to recognize that, what they do, how they contribute can make that impact and make that difference.
When you bring this message to the younger generation, they need to understand while you want to make changes to the whole world, and you also need to work together as a team, but also not forgetting that each individual matters as well.
Why is volunteering important for our students? What are the kinds of values you believe it conveys, and how important are those values to the education that we are trying to provide them at CIS?
First of all, it's perspective, because you really open up a much wider perspective for students to see people who have different background, who may be having different challenges in their life.
Volunteering is extremely important for the students because it's important for them to know that they have the power to make changes. Throughout the process, they will definitely learn a lot of essential values, such as empathy, compassion. And I think Sue mentioned student agency, and I think it's wonderful that the school is, advocating that. It's very encouraged, and we're seeing more student leaders stepping up.
I think another thing they can learn from volunteering is you may not necessarily receive something from the experience immediately, but as a result, you learn to do something unconditionally.
In volunteering, you're actually learning from people who are very different from your daily life. The volunteers themselves, they're all from different walks of life. The people you're helping. So I think volunteering actually broadens your vision a lot more and broadens your life a lot more.
Everyone has something to give and everyone has something to receive. And so volunteering is not really a one-way street. And so when you go into a situation, you are there to give of yourself, but you're also there to listen, to learn, and to exchange.
When you sign up for any volunteer activity, very often you're actually volunteering and working with people you don't know. You're going to be able to develop that set of communication skills and that sense of responsibility and that sense of confidence.
I don't know any of the kids in any of the schools, especially local schools, who volunteer as much as the kids at CIS.
On behalf of everyone at CIS, beginning with our students and our staff and our families and our friends, I want to thank you very much for your truly inspirational examples. You embody all of the greatness of our community in the contributions that you make so selflessly and generously, both to our school and to the broader social fabric of which we are a part. Thank you, thank you, thank you.